Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
White Tiger, new movie on Netflix. I have to say, my favorite movie so far of the year. Did this come out this year or last year? I don't know. No, it just came out. So far, White Tiger, I mean, it's only February, but amazing film. Crazy ride. Telling the story of Bahrani, Indian kid growing up in poverty. But it's like his rise to power, let's say, in India. A movie. It's kind of like Indian Goodfellas in a lot of ways. He's an anti-hero. But there's a lot of unlikable people, let's just say. So him being an anti-hero isn't as bad when everybody's just kind of a horrible person. But a crazy ride. You see him, back in his village, just breaking up coal. He'd been promised like this fast track to be educated, to go to all the best schools, but that got sidelined. And he gets this opportunity to become a driver for the son of the neighborhood leader or whatever. I don't know exactly how the structure is in India, but he wants to. His goal is to become the servant to this son of this guy, and that's going to be his ticket out. And it's crazy. It's crazy to see how he maneuvers and schemes his way into actually basically realizing his dreams. His dreams of his constant dream that he's putting out into the universe throughout this film is that he wants to be an entrepreneur, and he has this entrepreneur spirit. The one part of this film that I didn't like, but it kind of, I don't know if it just tones down throughout the film or if I just got used to it. The whole kind of conceit for the way this story is told, and it's probably because it's based on a novel, so it's probably similarly told in the novel, that it's him as Bahram as an older, as he is successful, like you see him successful in his office, in his compound or whatever, and he's writing a letter to this Chinese leader telling him his story. He's has a lot of respect for this guy in China. He thinks that the world is eventually, very soon, going to be run by the Indians and the Chinese, and that the white man is going to be yesterday's news, which I agree with. I think this movie takes place earlier than I think it was modern day. But yeah, there's a lot of voiceover as he's telling this story to this Indian guy, which is kind of cheesy, but eventually I think it fades away and we're just being shown the story. And the story takes a crazy turn where he is a driver. He finally becomes a driver, but this accident happens. Spoilers. There's this accident that happens, and his wealthy owners, his wealthy masters, want to use him to avoid any kind of criminal activity, even though he was not at fault for this accident that happens. Which also, I would not recommend watching the trailer for this film. I watched the trailer afterwards, and it basically spoils the entire movie. Like so many trailers do these days. It really did show so much of this movie, and when that happens, when that accident happens, it's crazy. I mean, it shows it. I think at the beginning of the film, it kind of hints at it, that like, oh shit, something happens, and it goes back, and it's like, let me tell you how we got here. But then once you get to that place and you see great acting, great directing, great cinematography, the way the camera just handles the storytelling of the film, the lead, just amazing. The fact that this movie hinges on this guy that I've never seen before. What's his name here? Adarsh Gorav. I, I'm not even going to try and pronounce these names because I don't want to insult anybody. But the guy that plays Balram is amazing. I hope to see him in many, many more movies. But yeah, the when his character kind of realizes that he's been duped in a way, that he's been taken advantage of, and it kind of there's like a lot of little things that happen to him in this movie that kind of get him one notch, one little click closer and closer to kind of the mentality he needs to really break free from this master slave relationship, which the movie does a lot to kind of illustrate what that relationship is in India and how the class system, the caste system in India, how that keeps people down, keeps people in poverty, and how difficult it is to rise out of that. How you basically have to become a criminal yourself to rise out of it. Um, but yeah, it's basically I've heard it described before this way, and I felt it's very accurate that this is it's like a rise and fall story, but you don't see the fall. You see how this kid rises to, and not even power. It's not like he becomes like this ruler, but he does realize his dream to become an entrepreneur. And in becoming an entrepreneur, he decides to run his business in a different way. And he basically sets up a driving company, like a taxi company out in India. And he treats his employees not like family, not like his servants or his masters treated him, which was in a way, one of the tactics to get away with abusing his kindness is by treating him like family, even though he was clearly the servant and made to live in like the basement area of the garage where they're like in this giant hotel or whatever, and in the garage in the basement there's living quarters for all the servants, and it's just kind of it's almost like a little shanty town at the basement of this hotel, and it's an interesting kind of juxtaposition of seeing, even still, like realizing his dream, being this driver for this wealthy son, that he's still like not far from where he was living and how he was living before. um but yeah, it's great. It's great. It's very interesting. He so when he gets the business, at the end of the film, it does a lot. There's things at the end of the film which he references. He's almost speaking directly at the camera, which I think is more of a dig at Indian films, like Bollywood films potentially, and how there's a line where most films, like these people who find success despite causing crimes or becoming criminals to kind of achieve their goals. It's like these movies constantly tell you that they're haunted by their nightmares. And instead he makes the point, it's like every day I wake up and in a panic attack, and it's I'm just grateful that I no longer have to. I forget exactly what it is, but it's taking a different perspective on what seems to be a common trope in Indian film, and it's kind of a different perspective to, in some ways, make it less regretful for the actions that he's done to achieve what he's achieved, but he's comfortable in that because he's doing things in a different way. Like he's not only changed the perspective on how to view somebody who has that kind of rise to power, but also he's changed the perspective on how you can run a business and how you can treat your employees, and try and do good, even though his business is kind of shady. But White Tiger, it's an amazing ride. I highly recommend you check it out. It's great acting, great performances. All of the characters are amazing. The wealthy son and his girlfriend, who is like Indian but raised in the U.S., so she has like feminist U.S. Millennial kind of beliefs, and like she has that outspokenness to speak up when she sees injustice. But even still, like she speaks up and tries to assert her voice into things. But then also she crumbles and enjoys money and enjoys just an easy life instead of really taking responsibility for her actions. But it's a great movie. I highly recommend checking it out. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. White Tiger. We will see if this time next year we'll see what comes out on streaming. But so far, White Tiger is amazing. There's from top to bottom. I love the movie so much. It was so good. And just it's a new story, a new location, amazing actors that I've never seen on screen, but it's just like it's just amazing, and it's written and directed by the same guy. So I'm definitely look forward to seeing what he does. Ramin Bahrani, see what he does next. Written and directed by. So yeah, check it out, White Tiger. Make sure you support our sponsors, Station House Coffee. Give them a follow on Instagram at Station House Coffee, and get on over to their website, stationhousecoffee.com, to pick yourself up some small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, and shipped directly to you. Help support small business and support the small businesses that support this show. Give them a follow on Instagram, Station House Coffee, and go over to their website, stationhousecoffee.com, and order yourself some coffee today. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!